Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Math Unlocked. I'm your host, Mrs. Rhodes-Grierson. What are we doing today? We're finding the length of a line segment, and what we're going to do is that we're going to use that formula. So we're using the formula. If you watch the other video, I gave you the approach of utilizing a visual perspective of how the line segment looks if I have the two endpoints. Now, how do I just go directly to the formula if I understand the formula, and how do I just utilize the formula to take me a shorter step in solving for the length of the line segment? So you'd have noticed that on my screen is a formula, and this, since I have PQ as the endpoint of my line segment, here it is PQ, but these two symbols means that I'm finding the magnitude or the length of the line. Magnitude is the same as the length of the line, and I'm taking it is Pythagorean theorem. Notice that all this formula is actually indicating what Pythagorean theorem states, that the length of the hypotenuse, and in this case PQ will become the hypotenuse, is equal to the square root of, because this would have been originally squared, and to eliminate square would have done the square root to both sides. So the square root of x2 minus x1, which would have given me the base of my triangle, and I should square that, plus y2 minus y1, which would have given me the height of my triangle, and I should square that. So how do I just utilize this formula using these 2 points? Since it's PQ, P came first, I'm considering this to make my starting point. So I'm calling this x2 and this x1 starting point, and this one y1. Remember, your coordinates come in pairs. X comes first, y comes second. Over here, this is my x2 and that is my y2. This is my ending point. Now, I'm just going to go ahead now and substitute all of this into the formula. The square root of what? Going with my x2. x2 would have been 1, so this is 1 minus, taking away x1, and x1 turns out to be a negative number, so that's negative 2, and all of this should be squared. Plus, what am I adding? y2. What's y2? Remember, I labeled already, so I'm just substituting. I labeled this as y2. So that's 8 minus what? Minus 4. Closing my bracket, and I'm squaring that. I'm going to go ahead and simplify. Remember what happens here. Negative times a negative turns out to be a positive. So we end up with, this is 1 plus 2 all squared. Plus 8 minus 4, that is 4 squared, is still simplifying. That's the square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared. What does that give? 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. We're still bringing this down. We're finding the magnitude of PQ, which is also the length of the line. We're still bringing that down. 9 plus 16 is 25. We're finding the square root of 25. So it means, therefore, that the magnitude of PQ, which is the length of PQ, is 5 units. And this is how we use the formula to find the length of a line. You first take the approach, remember to label your endpoints, your x coordinates, y coordinates, starting point x1, y1, ending point x2, y2, and you go ahead and substitute.